from Transformers Studio Series, commemorating Transformers the movie. It is Windcharger, the mini-bot, but he's not so mini anymore. Yes, this is the Studio Series version of Windcharger, who's basically Magneto, but I don't know why he didn't use his magnetic powers a lot more. We are the future Charles, not them. We are the future Optimus, something like that. But now after this, we have cartoon-accurate versions of all the mini-bots, pretty much. I imagine that we will get a Walmart exclusive with his original face, which was not like this. It was basically a mask and eyes, so I'm sure that will come along. But in the meantime, I want to break this out and show them to you. Now, if you're new to the channel, I'm Captain Kyle. Welcome aboard. If you've been watching for a while and came back, that is very cool. You have taste? I hope so. But it's time to break this out and examine Windcharger. Okay, that was a little too dramatic, but tell you what, be right back. All right, so since there are no cats around, I can break out the knife to cut the top of this box, but I'm going to fold it because sometimes cats do show up. They're not guaranteed in every video because they're cats and they do what they want. But I do want to show the packaging a little bit. He's got both a close-up on his face and his vehicle mode, and on the back it does show the two modes that we're going to look at, well, I'm going to look at in person and you're going to look at on video, moving somewhat. And it shows some destruction on the side from during Transformers the movie, and again, a close-up on his face right there. Now, I don't imagine, since we did not see Windcharger and Wheeljack, who were basically lying there, terminated in the movie. Okay, I got a hold of myself. That didn't sound right. Shut up, Logan. Well, I don't think that we're going to get the death sets that we got with Ratchet and Ironhide and Prowl and Brawn, with the explosions coming off of them. I really hope that they don't put out one that's just like battle damaged. That would not be cool. Had enough those death sets. But this box we don't need. There he is on his card, and he's kind of short, but he's a mini bot. He's got the little plastic bag here that has an accessory, or two maybe. Actually two, because I can see in here that there is a gun, and what I imagine, looking at the box, is his magnetic powers coming from the front of the car. So gun and magnetic powers. We can ditch that, and you will snip him off of his prison. And there he is. And Leo is here. You want to come up? I'm going to get rid of this plastic stuff because I don't want you eating it. So Leo has apparently become more bold in coming up onto the table. But like me, not a big fan of the shitty piece of paper. So we're going to get rid of that. What instructions we might need? So spinning him around on the turntable of doom, you can see that there are some plates on the back of his legs that are no doubt part of the transformation, a little bit of kibble. Overall, he looks pretty cool in this mode. And we can put the gun in his hand, plus we can put his magnetic powers on his chest. You like magnetic powers, don't you? And just gonna take a look at the instructions, because as I suspected, if he does not want to hold his gun, which the original did not have a gun, nor his magnetic powers, we can place the gun on his butt. So breaking wind at any point with the gun there, I don't know if that'd be very safe. And his magnetic powers can also store on his back. So very nice for however you want to display him. Can obviously hold his gun while you have the magnetic powers back there. Really depends on how you want to display your Transformer. But let's take these off for the moment and put them aside. And just taking a look at the deco, he does have an Autobot symbol, kind of on his stomach, a little below his chest. Wheels on his shoulder. You don't see the wheels on the bottom unless you look inside the legs. Then you see his hidden wheels. I'm sure someone could probably come up with some additional decals to put on him. I don't know if that's possible. I notice there's a switch on the back of his head, and I'm gonna push it down. And all it does is basically makes him look up a little bit. So I don't know what the point of that is, but it's there. I thought it might actually slide him so that his face was like the original, but now he just looks up a little. Interesting. All right, some posability. First of all, ankle swivels. Well, he kind of has ankle swivels that are higher on his leg than the ankle, like a little bit right below the knee, but you can put him in a much wider stance if you so desire. That looks kind of weird as he falls over. He might be getting ready to get involved in a rodeo, ride a horse, He's taking martial arts. He's in a horse stance. He's about to do some, horse stance punches and something like that. Right, Leo? You're a martial artist, somewhat. And of course, we need to see, can he do a full nose-up Jean-Claude Van Damme, speaking martial arts? And that is not a problem. So he's got that capability. A lot of people are like, why don't you just say split? Well, that's a little bit different of a split. A split would be that which he can also do. And that means he can also do a side kick that's really, really high. So you might want to bend that, and then he could do a side kick that's really, really high. But speaking of kicking, he can kick forward, and that is dang high. That is good. Kicking back, not quite as high, but pretty dang high. I already looked at the side kick, but let's see, he's got knees here. So he can bend at the knee, roughly 90 degrees, maybe slightly less. But when maneuvering his leg, this part kind of came loose, so gotta pop that back into place so he can stand properly. And swiveling. He does have a swivel. It is right below the hips. So far, very nice. Twisting at the waist. Yep, he can do it. Yes, he can. Arms can go all the way around. Bends at the elbow. He has a swivel. His fists don't seem to turn. That's a shame. His arms can go out to the side. Not super high, but pretty high. If you want him to reach up, you just need to turn those around. And there you go. And his head turns all the way around. And of course, he can look up. For reasons. I don't know why they added that feature. I mean, it's not a bad feature. I'm not going to say I don't like it, but a lot of Autobots don't have that feature, so I don't know why they put it in this one. C'est la vie. One thing I did not notice, and that's my bad, is that in robot mode, you actually turn the wheels backwards. The only reason I noticed it is because it told me to turn the wheels forward. But that's how he came packaged. I did not anticipate that I'd have to do that part. And honestly, it doesn't show it on here. So when you get him, if his wheels are facing forward like so, you can turn them back. And I think that makes him look a little bit better as a robot. Doesn't really affect the posability, but there you go. All right, now the transformation. Let's get him into his vehicle mode. And reverse of just what I said, we're going to flip his wheels forward as they were in the package. If we turn them around, so it doesn't seem like you can twist the fists, but they are on ball joints. If you push them back like that, which is part of the transformation, they can twist, but I don't think that that's necessary for the transformation. It just seems a little weird to do that, to just twist the fists. Unless you can twist the fists and then put them back. So yeah, that's one way of doing it. See you, Leo. Got a little cat hair on me. So yes, you push the fists back, you take the top of the car, or the windshield, and you move that back. His shoulders go up. It looks like you want to make sure that the fists go underneath the windows. So it looks like it's almost better to not put that all the way back until you have the arms in place, because then when you push it down, there's little slots that goes into, which is what it actually shows. So yeah, when you push this back, make sure there's room to put the fists in there. Now, if we lay them like this, as the instructions say, we can flip these up and out and push these forward. So you basically have like the entire top of the car right there. Now these wheels are on hinges, so you flip them up like so. And this entire back section, you can now plug in together. And then you can take this part, and it's actually not that different from the original, but you push that forward, and lining up all the posts, you snap them into that position. So he is now a little Camaro. Now, I don't think he is quite exactly in proportion to a regular Camaro, but then again, his original toy wasn't either. Now, for weapon storage, I'm going to zoom in on him a little bit. You can flip him over, and apparently the gun has those slots in the side, and you can plug it in next to one of the wheels in the back. Doesn't look like you are limited to one side or the other, because it looks like you can just take this and put it there if you prefer. We are going to obviously do a roll test because he's got wheels, and his magnetic power plugs into the front like so. Now, unfortunately, I am not seeing any way to connect this in a method that does not show up. So if you want to display him in vehicle mode without the magnetic power, you just got to store that somewhere and not lose it, hopefully. Now, as far as deco is concerned, you can see he's got the Autobot symbol. It's kind of outlined in white. He's very cool. Now, I realize I did not measure him in robot mode, and I'm going to go back and do that. In vehicle mode, he is about 3 3/4 inches long. Adding the magnetic power, of course, makes him a little bit longer. So he's a trifle over 4. He's like 4 1/8. All right, roll tests. And then we'll get back to the robot mode and the actual measurement. Very nice. And this is with the gun on the bottom, which just fell off. Get back on there, you little punk. Not the quietest rolling that I've heard, but it rolls pretty well. So I do have to say he looks very nice. Nice hubcaps. The rear wheels are bigger than the front wheels, and it's not a difficult transformation. And he does look very cartoon accurate. The switch on the back of his head has nothing to do with the transformation. Of course, if you look on the bottom of him in this mode, you can tell he's a robot because he's got a big face there. Oh, transforming him back is simple. You do want to take the gun off if you stored it, but just flip that back, separate, flip in the wheels, close these, and there is actually a little post area so that you know that you have the legs correct. Pull up the windshield a little bit so you can get these arms out, just a little bit. Take out the arms. Yep, sorry, it was a little still zoomed in. So yeah, pull that out a little bit, get out the arms. You can pull the arms down to where they were. This piece can go back up. It's got a little slot that plugs into and snaps in behind the head. Flip the fists forward, flip the wheels around, and there you have him again in his robot mode. And he stands about 4.5 inches in this mode. He is deluxe size. Now, Windcharger, the original Minibot, is one that I think I might have picked one up, but I don't know where it is. He's one of the ones that went in the purge. I think I got a new one recently, not sure where he is. So, just for scaling, here's a tailgate, same size as the original, and they both fall over equally easily. All right, let's see if I can do this. I don't know if I'm gonna do this slowly enough that he doesn't fall over, but we're gonna try. Very carefully moving it so you can see them from both angles. Well, all the angles, 360 degrees of an angle, and he's coming back around, and yay, that worked. So the original Minibot, which again, this is tailgate, was about 2 3/4 inches, almost, yeah, 2 3/4, like just on the cusp. So I gotta find my Windcharger, or I need to get one of the two. But yeah, I'm gonna put the gun in his hand, and I'm gonna put the magnetic power on his back, and there you go. Studio Series Transformers the movie Windcharger. He did not survive, but he should have. He was one of my favorites, and plus, magnetic powers. I mean, he could have done all kinds of stuff in the show, and I think he saved somebody once, maybe twice, using his magnetic powers. You know, Bob Budiansky said that this was not the case, but a lot of the original Transformers that he did the actual tech specs and bios for had what could be considered superpowers. And Bob, working at Marvel, but he said that wasn't a thought, but he's got magnetic powers, Mirage can turn invisible, Hound can project holograms, Skywarp can teleport, Brawn is just strong. You know, it almost seemed that he was, at least in some cases, giving them superpowers. And the comic was interesting because, like with Trax, he had a black beam gun. It wasn't also a blaster, he just shot the black beams. Blaster's electro scrambler gun, that's what it did. And then he would get in close and kick the mechanical crap out of whoever. But I do like this new Windcharger, definitely fits in well with the others. And I'm looking forward to the one from Walmart, which is inevitable, that will have his original toy face and come on a card. But a fun toy. And if you are having fun, by all means, feel free to subscribe to this channel. That'd be awesome if you haven't already. And while you are mulling over this Windcharger, which he sold out pretty fast, so I'll put some links in the description so you can get them. You might also check out this video over here, which is a 4-pack from Target that contains a smaller version of Ultra Magnus and Hubcap and just some neat toys. Check it out. And we will see you next time. As always, have fun and good hunting.